Are you all right with the back door open?
Yes.
Yeah, I might close it when we do relaxation. Okay. The cat did try and get in, but nicely shooed it off. But it is quite hot, so. Okay, ready? Okay. We're going to start lying down today. So let's just come onto your back. We're going to keep the knees up, take the feet to the edges of the mats, and just bring the knees to touch together. And we're going to bring our hands onto the abdomen area, so the lower lung area. So we're just going to rest the hands on the abdomen. Just close the eyes. Just going to start by resting in what's called constructive rest. A few moments just to ground ourselves. Just thinking about the body, focusing on where the body's touching the floor, so feeling the feet on the floor, the base of the spine, the back of the shoulders, the elbows, and the backs of the arms, back of the head. Just noticing those areas of the body that are touching the floor. Just get a real sense of being supported by the ground beneath you. Just letting yourself sink further down into the ground. Focusing the mind on the hands that are on the abdomen, just feeling the abdomen rise and fall. Just breathe in. Just breathe out. Just trying to lengthen the breath. Slowing it down. Calming everything down. Being aware of your mind now, just noticing what it's doing. Perhaps you're focusing on the breath of the body, or perhaps it's thinking the past or the future, what you've done, what you're going to do. If it is, just bring it back to the present moment. Just focus the mind on the breath. Rising and falling. The abdomen beneath your hands. The next hour or so, you're just going to be here. Not anything else to do. You'll be focusing on the body, the breath, nothing else. To close that window. Very slowly, just release the hands. The hands onto the floor. Keep the eyes closed. Just roll over onto your left side. Rest on the left side for a moment. All the movements today are going to be very slow. Nothing rushed. Focusing on calmness and stillness and slowness. So very slowly, I want you to push yourself back up to sitting. And just come to sit facing me. We're going to come into our first yin posture, to butterfly. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together. So before we come into the posture itself, I'm just going to take this opportunity to take our thumbs and bring them to the center of the feet. Just give that a little massage. This is sort of our points, is our kidney points. This is really good at sort of replenishing our energy. And we've had a busy summer. We need to get a bit of energy for return to school and return to work. Just keep massaging that for a moment. The postures we're going to do today, we're going to cover the four kind of main organs that are affected by stress. So the heart, the liver, the spleen, and I can't remember the other one. I've got some page. Heart, liver, spleen, kidney. So we're going to try and keep it nice and calm so that we're ready, de-stressed for the weekend. All right, so we're going to come into butterfly now. So ideally, we're going to have our hips kind of higher than our knees. So that's where we need a blanket or our cushions to pop under our bottom. If you need any other cushions, I can roll the back of the mat. It's not gonna, yeah, I can do it a little bit. Or I can get on those back cushions if you like. So you're just sitting on the edge of a cushion or a blanket. So the bottom feels like it's kind of about the same height as the knee, so maybe a little bit higher. So it's almost tipping you forward. You all right there? Do you want another cushion? So the soles of the feet are together. And then we're going to come forward. So again, we might want to rest the cushion underneath. If you come forward first and just see past the floor and just fold forward so the head is coming towards the feet. If this is comfortable or comfortable enough, I'm not going to say it's all going to be comfortable, then that's fine. Or you can bring in a cushion or a blanket to kind of rest the chest or the head on as you fold forward. You don't feel like there's like to bring in any cushions or anything. All right, so just coming forwards. Let the head just hang. So stretching out the insides of the thighs, the hips. We're going to hold this for 3 minutes. So you might think this is okay to start with, or you might think, gosh, this is excruciating. How am I going to manage this for 3 minutes? Just breathe deeply. Let's see if we can breathe through it. If you need to ease up at any time, that's fine. And maybe over time, you feel things start to loosen up a bit and you can sink further down. We're focusing on the breath. Keeping that breath nice and slow, letting the breath help you come forwards. Letting the neck feel loose, it's just gently hanging over the feet. This is a really good posture for relaxation, affecting the kidney meridian. Again, to do with energy, also fear, so helping us relax, soothe us. And hips store a lot of emotions. So we're opening up the hips, getting rid of any tension in the hips and any negative emotions that might be stored there. So we're halfway through. So hopefully it's feeling a little easier, or at least doable. The challenge with yin is quite often just to stay still in one position. You're used to moving quickly.
This challenges us to stay still. Less than a minute left to go. Keep breathing. All right, so walk your hands back up to your feet, so you're coming to sit upright again. Just going to bring the knees together, so use the hands to bring the knees together, bring the feet flat on the floor. And let's just hug the knees and bring the nose to the knees. We're just resting here for a minute, so we rest between postures. If you're doing the opposite stretch, so often you feel a bit of a rebound when you do the in-between postures. A bit of respite. All right, so lifting the head slowly. Let's remove the blanket or cushion or whatever from under the bottom. We're going to come into dragonfly. We're going to take the legs wide. Everyone okay now? So just coming into dragonfly again. If this feels very comfortable, you can always put a blanket or something underneath the bottom if you feel like you need to be raised up. Basically, never be uncomfortable. It's, you know, there's always something you can do to prop up things, and maybe if it's hard having the legs straight, you can bring something under the knees to have them slightly bent. Okay. But what we're going to do is we're going to come over the right leg first. So we're going to be turning to the right leg, and again we're going to fold forwards over the right leg. Just bring our hands either side of the right leg, and let the head drop. And again, you might find it comfortable to have a cushion on your right side, so you can just rest your chest on the cushion. Give that a go, because it's actually really quite nice. There we go. Yeah. So just rest your head down, hands either side of the right leg. And we're going to stay here, if we can, for 3 minutes on this side, and then do the other side. If you need to adjust at any time to make it a bit more doable for you, that's fine. We're just focusing on folding forwards towards the right toes. This wide leg posture is affecting our liver meridian. Again, soothing posture. Lots of folding forwards today, which is very grounding, very stress relieving. Just letting that head relax down. Only stretching that leg, line along the leg. Everything else, being as relaxed as it possibly can do. That's noticing what your mind is doing. If your mind's going, oh, I don't like this, don't like this, or oh, it's okay. And just noticing what you're saying in your head about it, not making any judgment about that. We're over halfway through. So if you need to ease up, you can come up slightly on the hands. Perhaps if you feel you want to go a little bit further, you can relax further down. You can remove the cushion if you wanted to. Just feeling that lovely stretch on that right leg. We've got a minute left to go. Of course, you may be thinking, oh, I'm going to do the other side now. Let's see how that is. All right, well, let's very slowly walk our hands back up. Return to the left, everyone okay?
I need to go forward.
Oh, sure, yeah, of course. Of course you can. The head's down. So,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
Okay, she's done that, it's fine. That's fine. Thank you. All right, so we're going to come to the leg. You have to give the leg a little waggle or anything, I feel a bit stiff. Then just do so. Otherwise, let's start to move over to the left side. And again, we'll take the cushion. And this is where you work out if you're balanced on the, or not. Most people aren't. So one side will be easier than the other. So this line will be easier or harder. It's harder on the left. Okay, so just coming forwards, folding forwards over the left leg. Hands either side of the left leg. Head coming down onto your cushion or whatever you've got stacked up on your thigh. You're just resting. So yes, you can notice the difference here. Whether you need as much of a prop underneath your head or more. I'm just feeling that stretch on the left leg now, and also a bit down the right side as we're stretching over. Really lovely long stretch. Just doing the left side now. Just relaxing them. You can always take your cushion kind of end on as well if you want to, which is quite nice. Just rest the head. You really don't need to be too far down to get any benefit. Halfway through, you're doing brilliantly. As we go through the different postures, you'll notice your brain will quieten down. It realizes this is what it's doing for the next hour. It's just moving slowly, releasing tension, and relaxing the muscles. Just a minute left here. All right, so let's slowly walk the hands back up. Move your cushion to one side. Just going to bring the knees up and lean back on our hands. We're just going to give our knees a bit of a waggle, loosen the hips a bit. How was that for everyone? Was that doable or stretchy on the legs? Nice though. Hope you guys are all right out there. I muted you, Becca, sorry. All right. So we're going to do one more sitting posture or seated posture. So we're going to come into shoelace. Can be a bit tricky, so we're just going to do the half version of it. So we're going to have the feet out straight. We're going to take the right leg, bend the right leg, and place it so the right knee is pretty much over the left knee if we can, or as near as we can, because of the hips, that might be quite difficult. Okay, so there is another option to bend that left leg and bring it to the bottom, but we can keep the left leg straight this time. I'm just going to have the right bent leg, so the right knee is just over the top of the left knee. Okay, if you've got a huge kind of gap, again, this is something where you could bring a cushion or a blanket between the knees, just so that right knee is resting on something rather than floating. It depends how you feel. We're going to come forwards again. So again, you could pop a cushion there to rest on if your chest isn't going to reach your knee. Okay. So bring the hands either side of the legs. So I can look at my feet, I haven't expected lifting. And we're going to fold forwards over that right knee. So
If the chest isn't touching the right knee, I'd probably advise popping something underneath. It's just a bit more comfortable. Feel like you're being supported. So hands either side of the left leg. Head coming down and forwards. Resting on the right knee or something on the right knee. Can be quite an intense stretch. Obviously working the hips, also the back of that lower left leg. But just try to relax into it, just knowing that you're releasing the tension in the muscles, stretching them out nicely. We'll just stay here for a couple of minutes. With all these postures, you might feel that it intensifies over time. So just seeing if you can push through it. And if not, just easing up a little bit to comfort if you need to. Less than a minute here. And we're slowly coming up and moving to the other side. Okay, let's slowly walk our hands back up. Just straighten the legs. Let's just lean back for a moment and just give the legs a little waggle before we go to the other side. All right, let's try the other side. So right leg out, bend the left, and bring the left knee on top of the right knee, or as near as it can go. Think about whether you want to put any support between the knees or on top of the knees or both. And we're going to come forward, stretching forward, hands either side of the right leg. And then in the head, hand down. And again, maybe this is easier this side, maybe pleasantly surprised. And maybe like, oh dear, this is harder. But you did it on the other side, so you can manage on this side. A couple of minutes here. Keeping the breath slow and even. Perhaps letting the breath help you through any discomfort you might feel. As long as it's not pain, of course, in which case, go back. It's really good for the hips. And flexibility in the hips. And stay here for another minute.
Okay, so we're slowly going to start easing back now. So bring the hands back. Move, pushes out the way, straighten the legs. I'm just going to come down to lie on our fronts for a moment. So come onto the tummy, stack the hands, and just rest the head on the backs of the hands. Let the toes touch and let the heels flop out to the sides. And just relax down onto the ground. Maybe you're feeling a bit of tension in the lower back. If you feel like you need to bring the legs up and give them a waggle, just to release any tension in the lower back, you can do that. So in a moment, we're going to work through a few postures from this position in the front. We're going to start with Sphinx in a minute, which is one of the archetypal yin postures, which is in Hatha Yoga is Cobra and Bhujangasana. And this is affecting the stomach and the spleen, also opening the chest. So keep the feet relaxed. You're going to come up now onto your arms. So bring the arms, so the forearms are flat on the floor, the elbows are kind of by the chest. Sorry, you're in a kind of a train. Actually, I'm the right way, so that's fine. Okay, so the elbows are in towards the chest, the hands are flat. I'm going to bring the head up and just look forwards. So we're going to hold here for 3 minutes. Now it looks fairly simple, might be something you've all done before, but it's a gentle lower back bend. However, if you have back issues, it can become a little bit uncomfortable. Again, if you feel you need it, you can put a rolled up blanket or a cushion under the chest so it's holding you up there. And if this is a bit intense, you can always move the hands further forward towards the top of the mat if you need to lessen that back bend. Keep the head up though, just feeling that gentle arch of the lower back. You may start to feel this also in the shoulders and the neck. So just breathing, working on that stomach line, stomach area. So we're helping the digestion as well. Digestive organs are nice. Stretch and massage. Don't block anything there. So you're halfway through. Feel the lower arms a little bit achy. Mind you. Not too much longer. Keeping the head up, looking forwards. Another minute to go. So if you want to move the hands further towards the top of the mat to decrease the pressure in the back, then you can do so. So we've got about 20 seconds. So we're going to very slowly lower back down to the ground, fold the hands again, just rest the head to the backs of the hands. Again, if the back is sore, bring the legs up behind you and give them a waggle. That just eases any tension in the lower back, which can happen. All right.
lower the legs down. So we're going to stay on the front, so hopefully this isn't so uncomfortable. We're going to come into a half frog, which is a fun pose and it feels lovely. So bring your arms out so they're on either side of the mat. So imagine you've got like frog arms. I mean, you know, I hope you know what I mean. Okay, or cactus arms, some people call it. So kind of your elbows at right angles and the arms are flat on the floor. And we're going to start with the right leg, and we're going to bring the right leg out to the side. So the right knee is in line with the right hip, and then the right ankle is in line with the right knee. So you've got a nice right angle. You can rest your cheek on the floor, so rest your left cheek on the floor. So make sure that right knee is up, so it's in a nice straight line with the hip. So we're really stretching the hip flexor. And this feels quite gentle. But it's really, really beneficial for that hip and also the sacrum, the sacroiliac joint. If you have problems there, it's really releasing of that area. Just enjoy this. We'll stay here for 3 minutes before going to the other side. If it feels difficult having the right knee on the floor, again, maybe pop a cushion under the right knee. If it feels better to have it lifted. Remember to keep the breath slow and even. And whilst you may not feel like you're doing much, what you're doing is resting and relaxing. Releasing tension in the body. And that's important. It's 1 minute left on this side. Okay. Let's slowly take the right leg back down to meet the other one. And then we're going to turn the head, face the right cheek on the mat. Bring the left leg up now. Slide the left leg up. So just make sure you've got a nice right angle, the left knee in line with the left hip. And then the left ankle in line with the left knee. Nice right angle. Get that frog leg. Just resting on this side now. Hopefully now the body is starting to feel relaxed. It's got into this slow rhythm, not moving very much. Hopefully the mind also is quietened down. Perhaps just passively observing what's going on in the body. Just noticing, just being aware. We're nearly halfway through on this side.
Make any adjustments you need to sound comfy. As you do these postures, just keep having a little check around the body, making sure everything's as soft and relaxed as it can be. You're not unnecessarily holding any tension anywhere. So that the body can relax in the posture that we're in, relax the areas that we're intending it to. All right, so we're coming to the end of this side. So we're going to slide that left leg back. We're going to bring the hands alongside the chest. We're just going to push back into child's pose. So take the bottom to the heels, head to the mat. You can either stretch the hands out if that feels okay. You might want to bring the elbows down for a slightly more relaxed version. You just rest the head on the lap on the mat. Bottom towards the heels. Just releasing out the lower back. All right, so we're going to come up now. It'll take a second to have a drink if you need one. It's quite warm. And anything else you need to do. All right, okay. All right out there. Just give it a second. Carrie, is it? Yeah, I'm sorry. Told me I just forgot. You know, that's that you could bring the machine. Put your head down. It's going to come out. Yeah. Let's start. She can catch up. Let's come onto our hands and knees. So you're going to bring the right knee forward between the hands. So have a little shift here. Bring that left leg back. So the right foot to the right heel is either in the groin. You're going to have to find what's more comfortable for you, or to increase it, you can take it further forwards. This is all in the hips. This is very much on the hips now. Okay. And then from this position, we're going to come forwards again. So bring your right knee between the hands, that's it. And then the right heel can either be directly in the groin if that's comfortable, or you can take it out a bit and bring the right foot further forward. Just find what's comfortable for you. This is very strong on the hips, okay? And we're going to come forwards. If we can, we're going to bring our head to the floor and stretch the arms out in front. Now, if the head is not there, then bring a cushion underneath, or perhaps just having a cushion underneath the head is more comfortable anyway. So please do that if there's any doubt. This is called Sleeping Swan. Not sure about the swan bit, but it's certainly a sleepy posture. That's great, yeah. Bring something under the head, just so the head is supported. And you can stretch the arms out, or if that starts to aggravate the shoulders, then you can loosen the arms and bring them further back in. And we're going to stay here, guess what, for 3 minutes. So you'll feel this in that right hip. Yin postures are very focused on hips, but then that's good because we have a lot of tension in the hips. A lot of sitting in chairs and other bad practices that we do these days. So we need to loosen our hips. So just focusing on relaxing down and adjust that right leg at any time if you feel so moving the leg in or further out, depending on how you feel. Really lovely stretch this. I think in Hatha Yoga it's the pigeon. Again, no idea. So pigeon, swan, I suppose. Similar. We're over halfway there now, so breathing through any discomfort. Changing the position if you need to. Just really feel the body relaxing, the connective tissue releasing. Less than a minute to go. Okay, so let's slowly start to bring the hands back up. Bring that right knee back. And we're going to tuck our toes under. We're going to straighten our legs just to stretch out a bit. They don't have to be that straight, but bring them back, just stretch out the legs a little. So we're coming up into our Virabhasana mountain posture, just in between. When you've had a little stretch, we're going to come forwards and let's bring the left knee now in between the hands. Take a moment just to stretch that right leg back as much as you can. Position the left heel either, as I say, in the groin or a little bit further forwards. And then when you feel comfortable, bring the body, chest over the left thigh. Coming forwards, bringing your pillow under your head. Rest your head. We're coming onto the other side now, balancing ourselves out. Yoga is all about balance. And just trying to balance the body here. And again, you'll notice whether this is easier or harder. You'll also have a preconception, or because you've done it on the one side, and you think, okay, this is what I'm going to go through on this side now. You're halfway through now. Just trying to flatten that right foot if you can, so the right foot is flat on the floor. Just thinking about letting the body sink down, not holding any part of it up anywhere, just letting it all ground down onto the floor. Relax. Less than a minute to go. You're doing great. Okay, let's lift the head very slowly. Bring the hands back alongside the knee. Bring the left knee back. And this time we'll just come back into child's pose again. So just take the bottom towards the heels. Soften the arms, bring the head to the floor. Rest for a second, couple of seconds. Make any movements if you need to. Okay, sliding the hands back up. So we're going to come into melting heart, opening the chest. Again, coming forward, more about coming forwards today. Definitely going to need a cushion in front of you. We've got quite nice sizable cushions there. That's good. So coming forwards, what you're going to do, excuse me, you're going to keep the bottom up in the air and you're going to stretch forwards like this and rest your chest on your cushion and bring your head to the floor. It's quite a gentle back bend. So bring the cushion under the chest area and then just start to slide those hands away from you. So your chest is resting on the cushion. That's it, bring it a bit further forward, that's it. So you feel like your bottom is basically sticking up in the air and it might look a bit kind of ridiculous, but that's okay. And then bring the forehead to the floor. Or you could have a cushion under the forehead as well as under the chest. We're just going to stay in for a couple of minutes, not too long. This is called melting heart. So if you can imagine your heart or your chest areas melting into the floor, feeling fluid, feeling open. You're working on the heart area. It can be a little challenging on the back as well, so just adjust if you need to. Have the feet flat. You're all in the perfect position, so that's great. So it might feel a little bit awkward, this one, it can do. And maybe, I don't know, sometimes a little bit uncomfortable on the boobs. So just adjust your cushion if that's the case, to maybe have it further up the chest, so it's sort of cushioning there rather than directly on. I know, oh, yes, that's what I'm doing there. The arms are stretched out. If the shoulders become a bit too intense, then bring the arms back in, bend the arms. You can even rest the hands under the forehead if that's less strain for you. Just relaxing down, melting down, heart melting into the mat. Stay here for another minute before we come out. So less than 30 seconds. If it's become too much, then feel free to slowly come out of it.
We'll be out in a moment. So let's very slowly just walk our hands back. Move the cushion out of the way. Just for one last time. We'll come into child's pose, but this time we'll take the hands to the soles of the feet. Head on the floor. The bottom towards the heels, hands on the soles of the feet, head on the floor, let the elbows drop down. Just rest for a moment. And then just lift the head slowly. Coming back up. Let's just stretch the legs out. Lean back on our hands for a moment. Have a drink. Okay. We're going to do one more forward bend. And yeah, standard forward bend, I suppose. It's called caterpillar yin. So we're going to have the legs out straight. Now you can either have them together or you can have them slightly apart. If you've got a problem having straight legs and you bend, I suggest putting a rolled up blanket underneath just to ease any pressure as we come forward. Okay. We're going to fold forward, and again we're going to take our cushions, place them on our lap so that we can just drape ourselves over the cushions, rest our head on the cushions and take the hands either side of the legs. I'm just going to hold here, letting gravity help your head down. Stretching out the lower back, the backs of the legs. And grounding ourselves, bringing ourselves forward, forward to the ground, rooting ourselves down, relaxing. Maybe this forward bend is a little bit easier than it might have been. So stretch out some of the ligaments. Maybe a bit more able. Come forward a little more. Just noticing how the body feels right now. And see if the mind is quietened. Or feeling more able just to be here and catch you at the beginning. You feel more in the moment. Stay here for another minute. We're ready. Come on to our backs again. For our final posture before relaxation. Okay, let's slowly unroll ourselves, coming back up to sitting. And then we're just going to take ourselves all the way back down to lying down. And lie down on the mat. Maybe bring the knees to the chest, just to ease out the tension in the back from the forward bend. You can take a little rock around if you need to, just to massage the back on the mat. And then bring the knees back to center. And you're going to straighten the left leg. Keep the right knee bent. We're going to do a reclined twist. Keep the head on the mat. Take your left hand and hold your right knee. Take the right arm so it's outstretched to the side. And then very slowly, let's bring the right knee over to the left. Turn the head to the right. Now the right knee might be dangling in the air, that's fine. If you're okay with that, that's fine. Or if you wanted to pop some cushions underneath so you're supporting your right knee, you can. But keep the shoulders on the floor. And turn the head to the right, so you're twisting through the body. So the right knee is over to the left side and the head is turned to the right. Just try and relax in this position. Giving a lovely twist through the spine. Shoulders on the mat, so the chest is open. Just letting everything go. Halfway through on this side. Really making sure you get a good twist through the body. Twisting the spine. Opening the chest. Okay, so let's bring the head back to center first. Bring the right knee back to the chest, and then bring the left knee to the chest. Perhaps just taking a little squeeze here. And then we'll straighten the right leg. Take the left arm outstretched to the side. Hold the left knee, yes, with the right hand. And then gently draw the left knee over to the right side. And turn the head to the left. Again, if you want to support your floating left knee with a cushion or maybe even under the left ankle, that's fine. Keeping the shoulders on the floor. Again, just relaxing down, softening everything. Letting the body rest in this position, gently twisting through the spine. As we're in the last posture now, just perhaps checking in, seeing how the body feels compared to perhaps when you started. Also perhaps your expectations, and mind chatter. Perhaps everything's softened and relaxed just in this last hour or so. 30 seconds left to go. Okay, bring the head back to center. Draw the left knee back to the chest. Bring the right knee in. Have a last squeeze. A little walk around. You can bring your feet flat to the floor. We're going to come into relaxation. So you can either just straighten out the legs and lie down, or if you need to pop any socks on or a blanket or anything like that. Shut that door. That's right. If you'd rather lie on the left side, you know. So we'll turn the lights out as well. Well done, really well. And now there are no more postures, and you can just lie and relax and really let everything go. So lying Shavasana. So have the legs out straight, have the heels together, and just let the feet drop outwards. If this is going to be uncomfortable, you can bring the knees up, or maybe roll a blanket or a cushion under the knees if you've got any pressure on the lower back. You can bring the knees up at any time. Have the arms alongside the body, have the palms turned upwards preferably. And it can be down if that feels a little uncomfortable. Rocking the head from side to side, just loosening any tension in the neck. Bring the head back to center. With the head on the floor or the cushion, just gently jut your chin into your chest, just to lengthen the neck a little more. Just make any last minute adjustments you might need, just to make yourself comfy. You can perfectly still. Go around the body first. We're going to feel each part of the body, feel the weight of each part of the body. Starting at the feet, feel the weight of the feet, mat. The weight of the calves, the knees, and the thighs. Feeling the weight of the hips and the pelvis. Feeling the back, rounded on the mat, the weight of the torso on the mat. Being aware of the hands and the arms and the shoulders, and the weight of those lying on the mat. Being aware of the head, the weight of the head. Feel that weight now. I want you to feel the weight of the right leg by just lifting it an inch off the floor. Just lift the right leg off the floor and feeling how heavy that leg is. And letting it come back down to the floor. Feeling the weight of the left leg now, lifting the left leg. Just feeling the weight of that leg and letting it come back down to the floor. Feeling the weight of the right arm now, lifting the right arm just an inch, feeling how heavy that is.
And letting it relax back down. Feeling the weight of the left arm, lifting the left arm a little. And let it relax down. And let's just lift the head an inch off the floor, just lift it up, feeling the weight of the head. And then you can let it back down. Now the body's really heavy. I'm just going to relax a little bit more. I'm going to take our mind down to our feet. I'm going to say in our head, my feet are relaxed. Taking our mind to our calves and saying to ourselves, my calves are relaxed. Moving to the knees and saying my knees are relaxed. Coming to the thighs now. Repeating in your mind, my thighs are relaxed. Coming to the base of the spine, and the hips and the pelvis. Relaxing those and saying my hips relaxed, pelvis relaxed. Focusing on the back. Relaxing each vertebra into the mat, letting it come down even further. And saying my back is relaxed. Bringing your awareness to your abdomen. And saying my abdomen is relaxed. Focusing now on the chest. Feeling the chest heavy and relaxed. And thinking my chest is relaxed. Taking your mind now down to your fingertips, relaxing the fingers and the hands. And saying my hands are relaxed. Relaxing the lower arms and the elbows. Relaxing the upper arms. And saying internally, my arms are relaxed. Relax the neck and the throat. Saying my neck and the throat are relaxed. Relax your jaw, let the jaw open slightly. Move the tongue from the roof of the mouth if it's there. Soften the face muscles, soften the cheeks, the nose, and the eyes. Say, my face is relaxed. Relaxing behind the ears. Relaxing the back of the head. Feeling the back of the head on the left. Relaxing the top of the head. And finally coming to the forehead. And saying my whole head is relaxed. Feeling aware now that the whole body is completely relaxed. The whole body is completely calm. And the whole body is completely still. Only being aware now of the breath, moving gently, breathing in, in and out. Very gently in the mind, back to the breath. Staying still, taking a few deep breaths into the body. Filling and emptying the lungs. And gently wiggling the fingers and toes. And very slowly rolling onto your left side. Resting on the left side for a minute. And then rolling onto your tummy. Just rest your forehead in the back of your hands. And then in your own time, pushing yourself back up to sitting. And coming to sit, the eyes closed, cross-legged, palms together at the chest. Coming up nice and slowly. Before we open our eyes, I'm just going to chant the universal prayer to close the cup. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shanti 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 Om. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm just going to switch the recording off now. Very quietly until this electronic lady then makes a horrible noise.